Today, I want to talk about the cross. The cross. Yes, everybody talks about the cross. Everybody in the Christian world. And they speak of it in a positive way. Um, Maybe what I'll do before I get started, let's just do this. All right, just take a look. And let's see what they say that the cross symbolizes, the Christians. Here's what they say: the cross, a principal symbol. Listen very carefully. Symbol of the Christian religion, recalling the crucifixion of, as they say, Jesus, and the redeeming benefits of his passion and death. The cross is thus a sign of both Christos himself and the faith of the Christians. Okay? So they use two words here: symbol, principal symbol, and a sign. Now, let us look at the word symbol and then the word sign. Probably symbol might be more accurate. Folks, I want to show you something. Symbol, the word symbol, a mark. A mark or character used as conventional representation of an object, function, or process, the letter or letters standing for a chemical element or a character in musical notation. It is a mark. Now, let's go then now to Matthew 16 and verse 24. All right, and it says right down here, then Jesus said unto his disciples. Well, wait a minute. Let's look at the definition, or let's look at what they replaced with the word Jesus. Okay, it says Jesus or Joshua, the name of the Messiah. Well, as I pointed out, even the rendering of the name Joshua is absolutely incorrect. So let's go to the book of Joshua and let's see what his name is. All right, King James Bible, and the chief, the ruler of Jehovah's host. Who'd that be? Michael? Or was it Jehovah himself? Let's continue. Said unto, not Joshua, but Yehoshua. See that? Yehoshua. Meandering, slithering, the slithering and the meandering of names to make it say something that it's not is not truthful, it's not upright, and it's not righteous. Stick with the name he was given, Yehoshua. Now we go back to Matthew 16:24. Then said Yehoshua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself. How do you deny yourself? you deprive yourself of all the rights and all the benefits that you currently have. Okay? That's how you deny yourself. You deprive yourself of all your rights and benefits as a citizen or a subject or whatever nation that you're living in. And take up his stauros, an upright stake. It says, hence a cross. Well, hence? That means inference. Let's just stick with the crux, or let's stick with the heart of the matter here. There's no inference here. Stauros. Let him therefore deny himself, take up his what? Stauros, the Roman instrument of crucifixion. You see? The Roman instrument of crucifixion. This Roman instrument of murder. All right? Now, today I'm not going to go into the argument that is usually made, because I do believe now that the argument about whether it had cross beams on it or not clouds the bigger picture. It does. And you'll understand in just a minute why I'm saying this. Okay. If anyone wishes to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his stauros and follow me. In other words, anyone who follows him is going to have to give up everything that they have and be mounted up on an instrument of torture and death by the Romans. Every bit of this is accurate. So let's look at this carefully again. The Roman instrument of crucifixion. Now, I look at Google, and it says that the cross is the principal symbol of the Christian religion, recalling the crucifixion of, they incorrectly say, Jesus when it should be Yehoshua, and the redeeming benefits of his passion and death. The cross, therefore, is a sign, remember, as a sign of both Christos himself and the faith of the Christians. So it is a sign of the faith of the Christians, and it is that the principle. What does the word principle mean? Okay, folks, I have got to do this. I have got to do this. Principle. Definition. Right? First in order of importance. It is the numero uno, number one symbol. All right, we've got that. The number one symbol of the Christian religion. And indeed, you can look at all the houses, Christian houses of worship today, and you will see it. Symbol. The word symbol is mark, means mark. A mark or character. All right? Now, actually, The apostles in the book of Acts gave the Gentiles four things, the Gentile churches, four things to abide by. They were supposed to avoid fornication, avoid idolatry, or anything sacrificed to idols, shedding of blood or eating blood. It's early in the morning, I can't even remember what the fourth one is. But among them was idolatry. Now, the Christian preachers today will tell you that the mark of the beast has to be something that is engraved into the skin. That's not true. It's not true at all. The cross, as they say, is the principal mark of the world's most dominant religion today. At least in the Western Hemisphere. Let's look at religions. Religions. All right. There it is, folks. There it is. So we know that Christianity is based in Western civilization. 2.4 billion followers. It is the number one religion around the world today. Now, you think that this mark, you think that the Muslims don't have it? Or do you think, some of you think that it's the mark of the Muslims? Okay, let's run with that. Let me show you something. So they say that Bismillah is the real mark of the beast. Well, if they're going to say that, if they're going to say that the Bismillah is the mark of the beast, then they're going to have to say that the Christian cross is too. Let me show you. All right. So this is what right here, this is what John saw right here. But guess where it's at? Guess where this is located? Codex Vaticanus. At the Vatican. What is this? It's a mark. It's right here. It's a series of marks. What is it? When you see it clearly, you see XES. The first three digits of the name of Jesus. All right? Now you will say, well, wait a minute, Henry. Hold on just a minute. It's J-E-S-U-S. Au contraire, my friends. Let me show you something. Let's see if I can find what I found the other day. Here it is, right here. You notice something? You notice anything? XESUS. Oh, this is written in a different language, isn't it? What language might this be, pray tell? Well, this is in a Latin language, folks. Now, it used to be, and I don't know why it's not doing it now, this thing used to ask me if I wanted to translate this in English. And when I clicked it, it magically, this name magically changed spelling. All right. I'll try it again and see if it works, but I don't think it's going to work this time. Nope. I don't know why. Doesn't matter. But you get the point. You know who this is? This is an image. This is his name. There is a number in his name in capital letters as XES or 666. All right. What do you see? XES. XES. So now what you have is, you have the top two dominant religions of this world, both carrying the mark of the beast and the number of his name. Both. So now what you see here is uh, 2.4 billion, 1.9 billion. Is there any more that carries a version? Is there any more? I believe there is. Let me show you something. Origin of swastika. This is a cross as well, folks. All right. The word swastika is derived from the Sanskrit root swasti, which is composed of su, which is good, well, and asti, which is it is, there is. The word swasti occurs frequently in the Vedas as well as classical literature, meaning health, luck, success, prosperity, and it was commonly used as a greeting. So we'll go and look it up and see where it originated. All right. In Hinduism, the symbol with arms pointing clockwise is called swastika, symbolizing the sun. Oh, the sun god. Apollyon the destroyer. The same symbolic gesture, therefore, you see. So now we realize that it's not in just the world's most dominant religion, Christianity. It's not just in the second largest religion, Islam, but it's also in the third largest religion. And then, folks, you begin to realize something here. Now, don't forget what symbol means, mark, okay? So I'm going to go and open Bible Hub. Deceive. Revelation 12:9. So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old called the devil, Satan, who deceives 2.4 billion? No. Another 1 point something or other billion? No. No. No, the answer is the whole world. The entirety of the world. All right? Let's look up this word whole, and let's make sure we have context here, folks. Whole, complete. So don't sit here and say, well, Christianity is not affected by the mark of the beast because the Muslims have it. No, you have it too, Christian. And Muslim, don't say that the Christians have the mark of the beast, but we don't. Don't do that either. Neither the Hindu. You all have it. You all uphold it as your symbol. Now, Revelation 16. It's verse 2. Let's go to Strong's Concordance. And the first angel went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a grievous and noisome sore upon the men which had the charagma. 5480 in Greek, charagma. What does it mean? Oh, looky here, folks. Properly an engraving, figuratively a mark, providing undeniable identification like a symbol. Uh-oh. Symbol? Symbol. Giving irrefutable evidence between parties. And of course it was originally impressed upon a coin or a seal, used as an engraver, as die stamp, branding iron, etc. An identification marker. Now, but it doesn't have to be permanent, folks. Just putting that sign on your forehead or making that sign with your right hand, which 9 out of 10 at least Christian religions do on Ash Wednesday. Look at this. Ash Wednesday. Images. And what do you see? You see the mark of the beast on a forehead. That's what Ash Wednesday represents. All right. I'm pulling up all kinds of scriptures, and anyway, I'll backtrack here a little bit. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and also upon those which worshipped his image. What image? That image right there. So, even if you don't worship this image, but you still carry this mark right here, or the number of his name, either or, the plague will fall, and it has fallen before, and it's going to fall again upon those who have either this mark, the name, right here, this name, or the number that is within the name, 666, or XES, or this image. So there is no escaping it. Hindu, Muslim or Christian, there is no escaping the wrath that is coming. You can't sit here and say, oh, we don't worship the image, we just have the symbol. Hindu, not going to cut it. It's not going to work if you say, well, we don't worship the image, but we do have the first three letters, but we don't have the name. We don't worship the name. Doesn't matter. The plague will still fall upon you. And the Christian that has all three markers, or maybe I should call it, what is the term I'm looking for? Insults. Insults? Insults against the Messiah. Insults against Israel's Moshiach. What do I mean by that? Why am I calling it an insult? All right, so I'm going to go right straight back to the scripture, let's see here, to this, Matthew. So, today, so he says, Yehoshua says unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself, take up his stauros, and follow me. In other words, take up his instrument of execution, which is going to fall upon him if they follow him. Agreeing to being executed by the Romans. All right. So what followed this was, from Constantine and forward, several hundred years later, several hundred years later, were the Roman armies running around with this symbol. This symbol of death, of crucifixion, of torture, of murder upon their shields, as they went rampaging all over Europe and other places. Pillaging, raping, and murdering is what they were doing with this symbol on their, I'll show you, Roman, let's see, shields, all right? There it is, you see? So beforehand they had this, which is actually, in all truth, it's another form of the cross, but from 325 onward they had these shields. Okay. Like I said, I'm not gonna go and make the I'm not gonna get into the arguing today whether this crossbeam was on the instrument of death when Yehoshua was killed. That's not the point I want to make today. What I'm saying is this symbol, which is also a symbol of Tammuz, a false god, this symbol is a symbol of torture and death upon the Messiah and upon his disciples. Now, to a good cross-section of American population today, the hangman's noose is also a symbol of torture and death. Why is that? And using the same logic, don't you think, therefore, that the Roman symbol of torture, murder, and death should be just as offensive. Oh yes, I'm going there. Shouldn't it be just as offensive to the followers of Yehoshua as the hangman's noose is to the black population in the United States of America? Shouldn't it be? Yes, it should. Why then is it not? So Yehoshua said this. Pull up another Bible hub. Far country. Luke 19 and verse 12. Oh, I want to get King James Version here. Verse 12. We'll start in verse 11. And as they heard these things, he added and spoke a parable. Why? Why did he speak this parable? Because he was near to Jerusalem and because they thought that the kingdom of Jehovah should immediately appear. He said, therefore, a certain nobleman went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom and to return. In other words, he will be gone for a long time. Far country means far away, 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 and away for a long time, and not even conferring with people on the earth. Now, what do you suppose when he comes back and he sees the whole world? Yes, I said the whole world, carrying this offensive Roman symbol, mark of torture and murder, bowing down and worshiping it. The Christians doing it most egregiously, even more than the Muslims, even more than the Hindus. What do you think he is going to say? What do you think he is going to do if it offends him? Using the same logic that is being used today in a major portion of the United States of America, that such a symbol is to be offensive. Because if the hangman's noose is offensive, then so should the Roman instrument of death. You think he's going to take it kindly? Using your own interpretation, using your own logic. Let's go back and look at this one more time. All right, so we see a whole segment, a whole bunch of articles and pictures point the mark of the beast as Islamic. So what we'll do then is we'll go to this. Oh, before I forget, let's see, I may have already crosses. Let's look at this. So just to make a point here, crosses come in a whole bunch of different, it comes in a whole bunch of different designs. All right, I'll scroll down and you'll see these designs. See, There's the Greek cross, the Latin cross, the Byzantine cross, the patriarchal cross, which is the Russians. Then you got the double cross, which features that's the cross that's on the British flag. This double cross right here, because a St. Andrew's cross, as they say, looks like an X, and then you have the Greek cross that's up, or the English cross. Then you have the starogram, okay, which has a sword, an upside down sword with a cross over top of it, across it. And then you have the Chi-Rho, this version of the cross, which is what Constantine used as his symbol. But they're every one of these, all of them, they're all crosses. They're all the symbols of the beast. Every one of them. Mark of the beast. None of them escapes. They can sit there and put the cross of Lazarus, the cross of so-and-so, it makes no difference. They all fall into the category of this mark. Now, I hope I have made that part clear before I got started. Now, I then forgot where I was going with this. Let's go back to the mark of the beast. All right, Revelation 19 and verse 20. I used the word delusion before, which is what's happened to Christianity today. And I also had pointed out that the beast is symbolic of both the man who rules at the Vatican and also the entirety of Western civilization which follows him, mainly Europe, but not just Europe. And the false prophet, I have learned that he was the man in Jerusalem who deceived the Eastern Orthodox people into believing in this heavenly fire, which is conjured up by trickery. And I've done a whole video on that. This is the group, or the so-called Patriarch of Jerusalem, which eventually went to the Byzantines and then finally Moscow. Okay? These two people were captured, right? We'll go to King James. With which he deceived them that received the mark of the beast, and that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. Yes, folks, these symbols that I just pointed out to you are offensive. They are the signs, the symbols of the murderous Roman government. And exactly as it says in one of the translations here, the New International Version, it says the beast was captured, with it the false prophet who had performed the signs on its behalf, and with these signs he had deluded deluded those who received the mark of the beast. Now, so since it uses the word deluded, I'm going to go back to King James Version, and I'm going to go to Strong's Concordance. Deceived. Planeo. Right? To lead astray, to deceive, to cause to wander, to go off course, to deviate from the correct path, roaming into error, wandering, and be misled. Now, we just read that the great dragon deceived the whole world, And I pointed out that that means the Christianity, Islam, and Hindu religions. The whole world. All right. I'm looking for delusion here. Lead into error, to deceive. So here's what I want to do then. I'll do this. Oh, misspelled it. 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 11. Let's see here. Strong's Concordance. 11. Delusion. Oh, looky here. You know, this word is derived, this Greek word is derived from the same word that we see here in Revelation. No, not that one. Well, but looky here. Now that we're here, deceived. Planeo, right? Planeo. This is the great dragon was cast out, the old serpent called the devil and Satan, which planeo, to cause, to wander, to deceive. And then we have right here that same word used right here, and the beast was seized, or the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet, which had wrought miracles before him, with which he planeo, deceived the whole, or the mark of the beast and the image. Well, the previous one deceived the whole world. This one right here deceives the whole world. All right. So now we have those two scriptures. We can read 1 Thessalonians 2 and verse 11 properly. Because of this reason, Jehovah is going to send them strong. They use the word delusion. Plane is a version of the word planeo. And when you use that particular version, you have the word, the meaning of delusion added into the wandering that was in planeo. You see. Now you see, folks. It's not hard to understand. As I pointed out, John, Apostle John, said in one of his epistles that you have heard that anti-Messiah was coming. I tell you, he's already here. Remember, Yohanan lived longer than any of the other apostles did. So Paul said, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming. John said, you have heard that he was coming. I tell you, he's already here. I did a video on it. You can go and look back into my history, and you'll see the title. It says, John said that the anti-Messiah is already here. You can look it up and look it up in my video. You'll see it. So, strong delusion. deceives the whole world. So now when Yehoshua, let's go to Straight Gate. Matthew 7 and verse 13. So we have three of the world's largest religions. Well, that's obviously the wide gate. Verse 13, he says, enter you into the straight gate, the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and there will be many which will go there. Because straight and narrow is the way which leads unto life, and few are those that will find it. And then he says this, beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. What do ravening wolves do? They rape, pillage, and murder. What did the Christians, Muslims, and yes, the Hindus did it too? They rape, pillage, and murder. You shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? No. What do thistles do? What do thorns do? They draw blood. They draw blood. Even so, every good tree brings forth good fruit, but a corrupt fruit brings forth evil fruit. And that evil fruit is thorns and thistles, swords, things that draw blood. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, and neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that brings forth not forth good fruit, because it brings evil fruit, because it has thorns and thistles, it draws blood, that tree is going to be cut down and cast into the fire. Wherefore by their fruits you shall know them. And not everyone that says unto me, Master, Master, shall enter into the kingdom, because he that does the will of my Father which is in heaven. Well, the will of the Father in heaven is not running around with symbols of rape, pillage, torture, and murder, going over the landscape and murdering anybody who does not swear by that symbol. He says, many will say to me in that day, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in your name? And in your name have cast out devils, and in your name have done wonderful works. And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you that work iniquity. In other words, you that carry the symbol of rape, pillage, and murder. Now, Western civilization, folks, is built upon a house with a foundation of sand. It is a house, Western civilization is a house built upon the sand. Therefore, verse 24, whosoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, imagine that, the ones who go into the narrow gate, not the wide gate. Well, I liken unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock, and the rain and the floods came. What is the rains and the floods? The great tribulation. Wait a minute. What is this rock that he's talking about? It's Jerusalem. That rock is Jerusalem. Look, let me show you something. Daniel, say cut without hands. Why is this thing doing this to me? Okay, here it is. Daniel 2, verse 34. You want to know what this rock is? Verse 34, you saw till that stone, or you saw till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon its beasts that were of iron and clay, and broke them in pieces together. Then was the iron and the clay, the brass and the silver and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, and no place was found for them. And that stone that smote the image became a great mountain. What mountain is that? Mount Zion, Jerusalem. You see, the New Jerusalem is the Messiah's wife, as I pointed out to you multiple times in Revelation 21, if you dare to, if you bothered to look at it. So in order to have your house built upon the rock, that he's right here, built upon a rock, you have to be a Zionist. Zionist. So the Zionists, they have their foundation, their house built upon the rock. Mount Zion, that great mountain, is going to, Mount Zion is going to be that great mountain written in Daniel 2, verse 34. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house. And it fell not, because it was founded upon a rock. Or is your house going to be founded upon Mount Zion? Or is it going to be founded on this graven image? This image which the toes and the feet thereof and the legs were Rome, Western civilization. What's going to happen to this particular house? The stone that was without hands, which smote the image upon its feet, that were of iron and clay, and broke them into pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken in pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floor, and the wind carried them away, and no place was found for them. And the stone that smote that image became a great mountain. So one of these two is the rock, and the other one, its foundation is sand. This great image, beginning with Babylon and ending with Rome, its foundation is upon sand. And everyone that hears these sayings of mine and does them not, this is Roman Christianity, or all of Christianity today, all of it, all of Islam today, all of it, and all of Hinduism today, all of it, have built their house. They are like the foolish, because everyone that hears these sayings of mine and does not do them shall be likened unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand. And the great tribulation is going to come upon you too. But Zion will stand. Zion will withstand the great tribulation. But all of these religions who built their house upon the sand, when the rain and the floods come and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and that house will fall, and great shall be the fall of it. When it comes to truth, folks, there is no room for deception. It is not possible to counter this argument. It just isn't.